Hello! Right, here we are. So today, I'm just going to put that phone over there. I am doing the last transfer from my fish that are in QT. So I thought while I'm out there doing that, I will make a short video, short for me, I don't know how long it'll go on for, talking about what I've done the last week. So I've had a visitor this week. I had a vet student spend, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours in the fish room with me, just chatting about what it takes to run a 3,000 litre mixed reef. So I thought I would just run through my, I'm not going to say an average week, but I'm just going to go through what I've done in the last week, what I've bought, what I've changed, just the normal things that I do week in, week out. Just give you an idea of what it takes to run a tank of this size, really. So I've made some notes because I tend to go off on many tangents. So I'm going to try and keep, I must remember I've got to change these fish. They've got to come out of that tank and in that tank by 12 o'clock. So my only worry is I'm going to be chatting away about something random and forget. Right, so the first thing I'll do before I forget anything is just check that the water temperature is okay. Because it's chilly today, it's about 4 degrees outside. So this should be 25. So I haven't actually got a heater in the water. It's at 24. Right, so I'll put that heater on and then hopefully by the time they go in, it'll be good. Right, so where's that heater? That heater's there. Right. So bear with me a sec. I probably should have done this before I started filming, really. But such is life. Right. It's amazing how it's done it there now. Right. Okay, so the heater's in, pump. Oh, right, so all I've got to do is transfer them. Well, right, where was I? Yes, so I'm going to go through basically what average week is like. Some weeks are less average than others. So this week I have been concentrating on trying to raise my pH. That's about it really, isn't it? I think, yeah, most things. Well, obviously I bought some fish. So last Friday I bought a pair of swallowtail angels which are going through QT. They're going into their last transfer, so they'll be ready to go into DT on Wednesday. I had a vet student who came, spent the afternoon with me last week, so we had a nice chat about, she's got a reef tank, so she's not completely oblivious to keeping reef tanks. Just nothing on this scale. And that brings me back to issues with pH. So the issue is it was getting low, particularly at night. It was getting to about 7.8, which is a bit low for me. I prefer to keep it 8 and above. So chat with various people. One of the things I've done is I've turned the feed pump to my external skimmer. I don't even see it, you can just see it there, can't you, on the edge of the shop. So you can't do a lot with that skimmer in terms of the pump's either on or off. So there's no adjusting the actual venturi in the pump. But the actual feed to the pump is another pump, which is, I've got a Biz A400, which one of the things it drives is that skimmer. So I've turned that up just to get some more water flowing through the skimmer to see whether I can just drive a bit more CO2 out of it. That skimmer's got an external feed, so it brings in fresh air from the outside anyway. So I can't really do a lot more than that. I can't see the point of putting a scrubber on it when it's pulling the air from the outside anyway. I don't think it's going to gain me anything, and all that's going to do is cost me extra money in media to change. So as far as that's concerned, I think I'm probably at the maximum I can do with that. So I did that, so I put some more flow through the skimmer. I added 2 more pumps, which I was very fortunate enough to get these guys. So these are very highly rated pumps when you talk to people. Panta Rhei Hydro Wizard ECM 42s. So most people who have been in this hobby for a while know or have heard of Panta Rheis. I've never actually seen any in the flesh, so they come up for sale. They're second hand, come from a tank breakdown. I was fortunate enough to buy them very cheaply for what they are, and they're both in my tank down the ends. The nice thing is you can angle them so they're pointing up, so the idea was I wanted to increase the surface agitation, just to help with a bit more gas exchange. So they are both in there. They're unusual pumps actually. So the control box, you've just got an on and off. It's like a flat box with an on and off switch, but the knob to control it, so to speak, is a magnet. So you just slide the magnet from off to on, and then you twist it to turn the pump up or down. It's quite novel. I mean, if you lose the magnet, I think you're screwed. So well, obviously don't lose the magnet. But yeah, I mean, it's a different approach. So I'm quite impressed with them, to be honest. They're super silent and they push a lot of water. I've been trying to buy new Panta Rhei pumps for months, and they're always out of stock on the website. I have emailed them and asked, are you still trading? Are you still making pumps? My understanding is that pumps is not their main business. They do something completely outside of the aquarium trade. There's something to do with bearings, I think. I can't remember what they make them for, but I don't know, it's just weird that every time I go on their site, all of their pumps are out of stock, and have been for months actually. So I don't know whether, if their other side of the business is doing really well, they concentrate on that, and then if they have a slack period, they kind of drop back and make some pumps. I don't know. So as I say, I've emailed them. Everyone I spoke to said that their communications are pretty shocking. So I'm not expecting to do anything back. But I did manage to pick up those 2. Very happy with them. If I ever get the opportunity to buy some more, I probably will. If not, I'm looking to put probably 1 or 2 more flow pumps in the tank, and then I think I'll probably, well, I say probably done. You know, as the coral grows, you might need to have more pumps, but I'm looking at the Abyss AFC 150s, also always out of stock it seems. The Panta Rheis obviously, and possibly the Toons. Can't remember what it is. 6155s. Or they do a whopping great one, don't they? Is it some extreme? Main extreme? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so this week I bought 2 fish, 2 pumps, changed the flow on the skimmer, excuse me, had a vet student in, and what else have I done? I've started dosing, what's the time? Sodium hydroxide. So I bought myself a full safety first. So I bought myself a full respiratory face mask and a set of rubber gloves that come up past my elbows to mix the sodium hydroxide with. So if you don't know, sodium hydroxide is an extreme base, so it's got a pH 14. I mixed up a 4 molar solution, so that is 160 grams of sodium hydroxide pellets in a litre of RO, and I made up a total of 6.5 litres, and I dose it at night. I'm still refining the amount I'm dosing, but I mean it is insanely strong solution in terms of one, getting alkalinity in your tank, and two, bringing your pH up. So I've just cut down from 100 ml to 90 ml, and my pH now has a low of, I think it was 8.09, and then it goes up to 8.22. So those ranges are nice, I'm happy, but what I'm not so happy with is the ALK has gone up to 9.3. So I really like the ALK be a bit lower. So it's one of those, I'll probably sacrifice a little bit of pH to keep the ALK below 9. It's only because when I do a water change, the water mixes at 8. And even though I do 300 litres into 3,000 litres, it's 10%. So it doesn't make a massive change, but I don't want to have that much differential really. So for me, I'd rather sacrifice it. I mean, all I want my pH to be is over 8 all the time. So at night, I don't want it to drop below 8. If it gets from 8 to 8.1, 8.15 in the day, I'm happy enough for that. In the winter, in the summer, I don't have any problems because I have lots of airflow. So the other reason that the pH I think has dropped this year more than others is I've got the calcium reactor working more than it was as the corals grow. So I started at 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and now it's at 12 hours a day. So just all that carbonic acid going in, the room being shut because it's been cold, because it's winter, and my fan, I've got a fan either end of the fish room. They are, I think they're called Blauberg, they're German, pretty sure they're German, sound German. So they've got a ceramic heat block in them, and they work really well. So, you know, they heat the air, or they heat the block rather, as they take the air out of the fish room, and then that heats the air, it pulls back in, and they do it every 90 seconds, they swap round. So they do 90 out, 90 in. One's a master, the other one's a slave. Unfortunately, the slave broke, I don't know, months ago really, last summer when it wasn't particularly an issue because I had the doors open. But I think all of these things compounded have helped to suppress the pH. You know, so the calcium reactor's on for more, the airflow's been restricted, the doors have all been shut. So I think in combination, all of those things have suppressed the pH. So I've addressed most of the things other than the fan, basically because I'm feeling tired, I want to spend the money because they're expensive. So I think the fan's 400 quid. I'll get round to it at some point. I did actually take it down and take it in my office and see if I could get it working, but it's absolutely dead, so I don't know what happened to it. So at some point I will put another fan up there, but in the meantime the sodium hydroxide's doing its job. I will probably just not dose it at all as the warmer months come and I can just get normal airflow in there, and then the aircon will kick in, and I'll probably just use sodium hydroxide in probably, I reckon, 2 months, possibly 3 months throughout the year, and then I'll just go back to, I still dose Kalkwasser. Part of the reason I made the solution so strong is that I don't want to add any more RO water than I need to. So making it a 4 molar solution rather than a 1 molar solution, I'm dosing, let's say, 100 ml rather than 400 ml. So that's a lot less RO going in because I'm at my maximum amount of Kalkwasser, which does all my RO top off. So I don't want to start diluting the salinity by adding another 400 ml of RO per day. So that's the kind of thinking behind that. Right. Yeah, so is this a typical week? What else have I bought? I bought 2 fish. I bought an abalone for my small tank downstairs, just to help with the algae down there, because I've only got a wrasse and a saffron goby in there, neither of which eat algae. So I just added an abalone in there, a small one, nice one, only probably 30 mil, perfect size. So hopefully he will get to work on the algae. I've bought some more calcium hydroxide, which is just kalkwasser. They had changed the specification on it from 98% to 95% from the same company. They don't give you a decent spec sheet of like the breakdown of chemical elements in there. So for example, the sodium hydroxide cost me with shipping £15 for a kilo, and it makes 6.5 litres if you do it at 4 molar solution, and so it's going to last me 65 days, obviously if I dose 100 ml a day. So it's very cheap, and it comes in, I think it's 98%, I'll have to check, but I've thrown the thing away. It's either 98 or 99, it's quite high, but you get a full data sheet with a breakdown of all of the traces that are in there. So the other 1%, for example, or 2% is made up of, I think a lot of it is chlorine ions, if I remember rightly. And then it's got traces of like copper and iron and sulphur, but it's nice just to have a complete breakdown to see what you're putting in there. I don't know why, but the calcium hydroxide, they don't give you any of that. It just says 95% calcium hydroxide, 5% random stuff that you don't want in your tank probably. But I guess the way you dose it anyways, it settles into the bottom. I'll use a stirrer, so it's kind of settles in the bottom of the stirrer, and then I would hope that the calcium hydroxide goes into solution and gets dosed, and that 5% of stuff I don't want sits in the bottom. I don't know. I don't think it'd be any different if I bought a calcium or kalkwasser from a fish shop, you know, with a label on it with a fish. I don't think it'd be any different, to be honest, but anyway. Right, so that's what I bought. So I bought 2 pumps, 2 fish, an abalone, some calcium hydroxide, some phyto, and that's it. So yeah, it is a typical week. Maybe not the pumps. I don't buy pumps every week, but I do buy, you know, non-livestock related stuff. Probably every week I am buying just maintenance stuff, additives, you know, phyto, live food, you know, new peristaltic tubes for dosing pumps, new dosing heads. There's always something. It's just stuff. I suppose when you have a lot of stuff and you have to maintain it, you're always buying bits and bobs to keep it running. So I think that is probably, let's have a look at my list and see if I've covered everything. Broken fan, filter skimmer, sodium hydroxide, 2 Panta Rhei Hydro Wizards, calcium hydroxide, phyto, new fish, abalones, and the vet student. Yeah, so that's it guys, really. Just a quick video to give you an idea of what happens on a kind of weekly basis of keeping 3,000 litres of salt water in a mixed reef. Yeah, reef itself's fine, everything's looking good. I'm quite happy with that sodium hydroxide dosing. It's worked a treat really. It's not something I'd want to do forever, but if I need to just use it for 2 months, 3 months in the winter just to keep the pH up, it's just an easy solution. There's going to be a ton of people out there going, oh, you shouldn't dose stuff to keep your pH up. I don't see why not, to be honest. We dose stuff in our tanks all the time to keep our levels at whatever we want. So is it any different? Not particularly, is it? It's not really any different from dosing calc. That gives you a nice pH buffer, or bump I should say. It's no different from using the what everyone's happy about, reef elements stuff. pH plus, which is probably pretty sure a mixture of sodium and potassium hydroxide, and it gives you a pH bump. So yeah, I don't really understand why people say don't add stuff like that. Anyway, I think I'm done, really. I'm going to transfer my fish. And yeah, I can't think of anything else to say really. So I think for the average week, other than the pumps, that's a pretty average week for me really. So I will leave you with that. And I don't know what my next video is going to be. I don't think I've got anything planned. They are my last fish. I'll say that. They are my last fish, to be honest. I mean, I've got no plans unless something amazing comes along. But other than that, 2 angelfish in there, and I'm done for my fish in the tank. Really, I've achieved what I wanted. I wanted this whole tank, I think I've said it before, was really about me wanting to keep an Achilles tang. I wanted to give it the best possible chance of having a decent life. So he's got a very large tank to swim in, he's got tons of flow, and he's been in there for 2.5 years. And I hope I'm giving him the best life that I can. I'm sure he'd have a better life on the ocean, but you can say that about every fish, can't you? I don't care how big your tank is, it's not the ocean, is it? But I always wanted an Achilles tang, so that's part of the reason why I think I'm happy to not keep adding fish. I've got the Lanardi wrasse in there, which is another fish on my list that I always wanted. I could say I want some more wrasse because I do like wrasse, but I think at some point it's quite aggressive, that Lanardi wrasse, to be honest, and I don't think he would tolerate me adding much more in the terms of wrasse, to be honest. Yeah, so why keep pushing the limits? Everything in there, everything's healthy, you know, everything's reasonably happy. So old's big boss. Yeah, so I think at some point you have to just say enough's enough, and my nutrients are fine where they are, so the bioload's okay. Some of these fish have still got some growing to do. So yeah, so I think in terms of fish livestock I am done, and so really for the next couple of years I will be just buying coral and growing out the coral that's here, and then obviously at some point fragging it. So yeah, so that's it. So I can't think of anything else I can chat about that's relevant. Yeah. So I will see you in the next video. No idea what I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, I'm done. See you in the next one.